And welcome back. My name is Haven, and today we're talking about the Corsair F4U-1D. It's important. There's a lot of them right in that same area. This one's at battle rating 3.0. The TLDR on this, and I think there's no way that I could say this better than Defyn said it. Defyn said it is a fast plane you have to play slow. Now, he was talking about the F4U-4, which is the upgraded, better engine model, which is a very fast plane. But we are talking about the F4U-1D, which has a worse engine. And so it will actually trick you into thinking that it's more maneuverable of a plane because you're not reaching those speeds where it compresses so easily. It takes a bit more time to build up to that speed to get into that compression area. So the F4U-4, you're almost fighting the plane to go slower so that you can maneuver, very much like the I-225, which if you've ever played that. Anyways, if you watch my BF109 F4 video, which I unbiasedly highly recommend, you'll remember that I said that Corsairs are like you, but with better inline speed than a 109. Just in more general terms, let's just go over the good, bad, and the ugly. So the good vertical energy retention in a shallow climb, good flaps that should absolutely be used to tighten loops and for stall fighting, good inline speed, but can still get kind of caught by others, like diving on you. Don't think that you could just outrun everybody. Good lower speed maneuvering under like 135 kph. The meh on the plane is there's 650 cals with the best belt available to you, in my opinion, is the universal belt, which unlike the late war belt, it only has 3 of the 5 being armor piercing and incendiary, but they're okay, they're workable. The bad, side climbing is required, even though it is one of the better climbing early Corsairs. Maneuvering speed, it just doesn't want to dodge. If you are taking a head-on and you're up to speed, you will get tagged a lot more often. It just does not want to pull away. When you're at speed, it compresses, and that will get you killed more than anything else. At least that's why I was getting killed more than any other reason because of that. Like when you're at speed, like especially in like a head-on situation, you just can't maneuver out of the way. So you need to really watch those head-ons. The other thing, and this is directly pertains to the one above it, your wings just like to snap off, especially at the joint where they would fold up on an aircraft carrier. One hit there is likely to just send you back to the hangar. Your wing will just snap off completely. Your tail also likes to fall off. It's kind of a weird damage model where sometimes you can be super tanky and sometimes one MG round hits that joint and your tail falls off or your wing falls off. It's kind of weird. Engine runs a little hot in the late game. You'll need to throttle back to like 94%, or you're going to have to learn how to use WEP, War Emergency Power, or you're going to have to learn how to use manual engine control to open up the rads. The instructor does not get it cooled off at 100% later in the game. And then finally, US teams just don't know how to play against the meta and I've come around on this a little bit. I don't think U.S. players are just worse. There are a lot of U.S. players that are just worse. But most of them just don't know how to handle the current gameplay, which is just throw everybody else. Whoever climbs fastest wins. And so the side climbing is sort of a dead concept. Anyways, I'm rambling on that. That's the bad. As you can see, I started this game side climbing. I'm probably AFK checking my phone. Just make sure that you're going about 250 indicated. Make sure, I think you're going to start at almost a 20-degree angle and then you're going to chop it back to like a slightly over 15-degree angle. And that's going to probably keep you right in that 250 kph realm zone. And then once you hit around, 3,500 meters, you can start angling back towards the middle. Time now, you can see here, there's obviously a fight going back down. I'm trying to see what's going on up top. Obviously, there's a furball down low, but I want to know what this contrail is up here. I'm angling towards it. I want to see what it is, who it is, and it turns out to be a 109. And that's not good news for me. I'm angling. I'm not going to try and like zoom climb to him. It looks like he's moving at a pretty good clip. I'm moving at 300 kph. He actually adds in chat, You know, is that me? Yes, it's me. So I'm just going to follow him, follow underneath him. I'm not going to climb at any great angle towards him. I'm just going to keep my speed up because I know at some point he's probably going to dive on me. He watches my channel. That's really awesome. I'm actually getting recognized in game a bit more. It's kind of a weird situation for me. But anyways, I didn't mean to imply here that he only climbs because he watches my channel, but rather that if you're someone that would watch my channel, that you would know that climbing is important. And that's kind of what I was trying to get there. Not that just because I said it, you would do. Again, we're going to just stay underneath him, try and keep our speed up, watch what he does, watch around us, make sure we're not getting caught by anybody. Trying to catch him, trying to just make sure, talk a little trash, see if he'll come down. Trying to keep, again, slowly equalize energy. He starts braking left, I flatten out. We're going to do a little bit of a lag pursuit. We don't want to try and get in a head-on situation here. So I want to keep my speed. I want to do make this maneuver cost as little energy as possible. He's basically making a 180, and we wind up more or less in the same situation that we were before. I have retained about 300 kph, which lets me still be maneuverable. We're going to just stay kind of underneath him. Again, the longer this goes on, and then he finally dives on me, so I throw it in a roll. Defensive spiral. My camera gets all twisted up. I don't know if you guys ever had this happen to you before. Eventually, I just have to let go of the button. He does get a couple of good hits on me, though, as in the process, which was frustrating, but sometimes your camera does that. He's going back up, so I'm now at 520, so I'm going to follow him. This is my opportunity to try and reverse him here. He did overshoot a little bit. He's coming back up. Get my flaps down so that I can get my nose over so I can get hits. I'm really frustrated just holding down the trigger here. I got to get something happening. Do manage to get some hits on him. He got some hits on me, so we kind of find ourselves back in the same situation. Pull the flaps back in. Just want to stay behind him. I don't want to overshoot. My flaps only down into the combat. He's going back up. Put them back down again. This is where I'm using my advantage, which is a very responsive flaps here. And good roll allows me to get those hits on him. So it was a good fight. He was doing all the right things you're supposed to do in a 109. Made me work real hard with those flaps, but I ended up getting him. Good fight, dude. He did end up saying in the chat like that he got his own camera twisted up, and I get it, man. It happens to all of us. So again, good fight for that guy. We find ourselves. We went back to the runway. We are one kill. Almost my entire team is dead. So we got to take off, and we gotta keep fighting here. So we're take back off. And in terms of advice, which I don't like to give too much advice. I just like to tell you guys what I did and let you guys learn from that. But advice here is it doesn't matter what part of the game it is. If you take off from the runway, first time, second time, third time, fourth time, you should always be climbing and getting altitude. A lot of people they think that if you've taken off a second time, you don't need to climb again. I think you should climb. Now, you might want to keep it a little faster in the climb because you don't know where people are and you want to be able to dodge. But you can see here, I'm running about 300 kph and I'm climbing. And that pays dividends so often because people will be ground pounding. They'll be whatever. When you come across them, you want that energy. You see, like right here, this guy, I find him below me. If I just stayed low, he would not be below me and we'd be on an equal energy fight here. So I do realize we're kind of running out of time. I flip it over on this guy. We're going to try and make this a quick one. Not trying to have a head on here. Don't get great shots, but I do get him severe. Knock off one of his wings. Looks like he's in a spiral. I keep thinking that those biplane is going to recover from that spiral, but looks like he is still flat spinning. So I take it back up. I do see a contrail over there. That's not a friendly. So I keep watching that contrail. Keep watching this guy, making sure he's going to go in. Know that there's a bomber over there. So now I'm really interested in what that contrail is over on to the right of me right now. Keep watching him, making sure he's not going to recover from that spin. We're going to start headed towards that direction. Maybe we can see who that is, see what that is. Again, I do remain climbing. You do want to keep climbing. I know that I've been spotted because I attacked one of their teammates, so I'm really on looking around. This match had really bad spotting. I know if you guys ever run into that where Like, even if they're within 2 kilometers, you can't see them. And there you go. Luckily, me looking around, I spot this guy. I think, hey, if I can't see him and I've got a fully spaded crew, maybe he's not seeing me. So I try and capitalize on this opportunity to jump on him before he has a chance to react. I lose him again, even though he's within, what is that, 800 meters. Fortunately, puts me behind him. Maybe he's not able to see me. Looks like he is reactive, going defensive. The Yak one is very dangerous. I want him out of the match. I'm just holding that trigger down until he goes down. And then I have another I-16 coming in. And that guy, again, the spotting is just really terrible this match. I think to take him into a spiral up, but he follows, but there's no way I'm going to win that turn fight. So when he stalled, I use that opportunity to gain distance and altitude. Because I am not a turn fighter. If I sit there and try and turn fight with that guy, I'm going to die. So I use this opportunity to gain distance and a little altitude, a little energy. I need to get away from that guy. I need to get above that guy. I need to get better energy state than him. I see him shooting at me from around like 1.3, 1.5 kilometers. Those are very low probability hits, and they're not super well aimed. It indicates to me that he's impatient and that he might not have, I don't know, that's pretty okay aim, but I just realized that I'm running out of time in this match. I still have like 2 or 3 guys to take out, to kill in this match. Put it flat, we're going to pick up some speed, pick up some distance, which I can absolutely outrun him in a straight line. Maybe not in a climb, they have better climb, but in a straight line I can absolutely put some distance. And we're going to try and do a little bit of an energy trap. This is the riskiest move I pull this whole match. I need to push this. I'm running out of time out of this match. It's so dicey. He does kill my engine, but I get him. I get him on fire. He kills my engine, but look where I'm pointed. I'm pointed back towards the runway. So I'm going to be able to glide back to my runway. He's going to burn up. Again, didn't want to do it, but I'm running out of time out of this match. And so we're going to wait. Hopefully he'll burn up. Suck really bad if he didn't, but he's coming apart. So got him out of the match. Whew! And of course we lay it down, and we're gonna take off for a 3rd time. And here's another. Take a look at the scoreboard. There's 2 guys left. One of which is a bomber. One of which is a fighter that I'm gonna have to deal with. So here we go. We take back off. Again, I'm climbing. I do spot him early. That's really good. He's got that vapor trail. Or maybe it's a cloud chemtrail. Never really know, do we? No, but there's the vapor trail that he's leaving, so I've got him spotted. I tease him a little bit about it. I don't want to immediately draw attention to myself because he's got an advantage on me right now. So now that I know I'm leaving a vapor trail, I still want to continue to equalize the energy. Those planes will not catch me unless they have a huge energy advantage on me, unless they can dive on me. If they dive on me, they're going to catch me. So I want to equalize the energy while I have this opportunity, because he will still probably be above me. I need space and I need altitude in order to be able to get away from him. I'm not going to beat him in a turn fight. So finally the blind hunt switches over to me. I absolutely know he spots me and starts heading towards me. Again, I'm flying straight, gaining as much altitude as I can while I can. Now he's within 2 kilometers. We're going to level out. I want him to chase me, and I'm judging how much of a dive I put it in by how quickly he's closing on me. If he's closing on me rapidly, I need to gain more speed. If he's slowing down, I could, start to reel him in. I want to give him hope, but not too much hope. So he's within 800 meters. I really do need to kind of get some speed here. He's going to compress maybe more than me. I know my flaps will hold up at high speeds. So now he's at 800. And what I've done is I've burned his energy. He does not hold his energy in a straight line. I do. This is the vertical energy retention right here, the Corsair. The slight climb with high speed, you'll see my speed click off very, very slowly for the amount of altitude that I'm gaining. He's burned it. He's burned all his altitude. He turned it to a speed. As soon as he stops diving, it bleeds off him in waves. For me, it's a very slow trickle off of him, off me, off of this plane. And so I've got the energy advantage right here. We're going to try and do a little bit of an energy trap, throw it into a climb. I know, looks like he's staying low. Good for him. That's the correct move. He's going to try and zoom climb up to me. I see that. I start to get a little, it gets a little dicey. Do a bit of a nose over. He's within 600 meters. Try and dodge a little bit more. I have to dodge away from him because he did a good zoom climb. Now we got to throw it over. We got to use those flaps. I'm hoping that I've retained enough energy to get my nose around over on him while he's still energy stalled. We end up doing that. Bring those flaps in. I want to be able to pick speed back up. Start getting some shots on him. I got plenty of ammo. I'm going to start making him panic. I want him to panic. I want him to dodge. We're going to dive. There's no way he can run away from me now. In fact, if anything, I'm concerned about overspeeding, so I cut throttle. I even throw the gear down for the Corsair air brake. This guy, I'm thinking he's going to fly into the ground, honestly. But I'm really trying not to overshoot. And then I managed to get some good shots right there, even though I'm fighting the rudder and everything else. And unfortunately, it happens right as the clock runs out. I told you I was running up against the clock, and that bomber ends up winning the game for them. But really cool fights in that game. I was very happy with that one. Also got to run into somebody who's familiar with the channel. I wouldn't normally show the chat history, but I thought that was kind of cool too. But that was a fun game. That really highlights what you can do with engine power, straight line speed, how you can beat turn fighters with straight line speed. You're going to have to create space. You're going to have to make them bleed their energy. They're going to climb better than you. So you're going to have to get distance. You're going to have to try and get altitude. If you can't get altitude, at least you can get distance. Then you can turn that into altitude. Then you can start, overpowering them with your engine. And that's how you're going to handle those quickly turning fighters in this Corsair. If you're still here, please go ahead and mash that like, subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. And really, if you could comment and share, that would be fantastic. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys that watches me. It's really awesome to see people get some value out of it. And that's why I do it, because I don't think there's enough of this type of content out there anymore. At least not anything before like 2018. So, all right, here we go. We've reached altitude. What we found is, of course, there's always people down low. We've got a big fur ball of them happening, and there's this 109 up at altitude. I see the 109 and I see the Yak 1, and those are both problems, especially at altitude. I did a good job climbing, so I'm able to pick up speed now, and I'm headed directly at both of them. As soon as I think it's just going to be the two of them, the RE-2001 appears on the scope there. So now I'm really thinking about it. I'm like, I got to handle one of these guys. I got to push something before it's a 3v1, not a 2v1. I really want the Yak 1 here, but the 109 is actually in a better position, so I'm going to try and figure out what I can do with this 109 first. I've got good speed. I was hoping I'd catch him slow and in his climb. Probably should be firing right now. Get on the trigger a little late. I was going to try and lull him into a little bit of... Just don't get good shots there, so I make this turn in towards the Yak 1 while he's maneuvering. Hopefully I can catch this Yak 1 unawares. That would be really cool, because that's a very dangerous opponent. Do manage to get some hits, just some long-range shots. Not enough to really do anything about it. So again, I just extend away. I'm going to try and turn that speed back. We'll just see this shallow climb again. Really trying to get that speed, turn it into altitude again. I don't want it to be now a 3v1. So the 109 kind of following me. He gets distracted by a bomber. I'm still climbing. Still want to milk all that speed back into altitude here. Takes a head-on with the bomber, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's damaged, whatever. Trying to just eke out every bit of... He's closing on me now, so he's obviously turned towards me. We're going to go ahead, and I want him compressing. He's catching me right now, so I want him compressing. So I kind of throw it in this dive here. I want him to follow me. Gives me a little bit of maneuver room. Here he comes. I want to make that a sharp angle for him so he doesn't get a shot. We do a little bit of a roll over the top, making use of the Corsair's roll. We get the flaps in play. And now he's coming back up. So I start leveling out. Really trying to get the flaps down. I really want this fight in here. I don't quite get it. He does a good little kick over maneuver right there. We're stall fighting at this point. And I'm just trying to hang with him. I'm trying not to completely lose all my speed here. Get the takeoff flaps down, we're going back up. So I get him all the way back down. He's stall fighting with me, which is good. It's the 109. That's what he's good at. I think if he would just, what he ends up doing is doing these little kickovers at the top of his loop every time, which does deny me a shot, but at the same time it allows me to hang with him. I think if he would have waited another second or two, I would have stalled out completely. Instead, every time he reaches the top of his loop, he kicks over a little bit because he doesn't want to stall out, but I can hang with him because now he's not maxing me out, right? I got, like, I'm a second or two from stalling completely, and he kicks over. If he would have just held the extra second or two, he probably would have stalled me out completely. Instead, we can hang with him. It takes a while. You can just see my aim is not always there. I thought that would have been a cool shot, but nope. We're still in it. He goes back up again. Try not to overshoot, so I get my gear down. That ends up not being necessary because he goes back up. And here we go. I've built up a lot of speed in that last dive, which gives me enough maneuverability to finally go ahead and end that fight. Good fight by that guy. I really wanted to highlight that fight. It was a good one. I think if he had just held that climb just a second or two longer, it would have put me in a worse spot. But all right, this is the last game we're going to look at today. I'm going to speed up the climbing section. Of course, always side climbing the Corsairs. You just can't point it right towards the middle and expect to be in a good position. Angle off 15 degrees, keep it at 15 degrees or slightly above, and make sure you keep your climb speed around 250 at minimum, and angle in once you see that you are at least like 3,500 meters or so, 3,000 meters, 3,500 meters, somewhere in that zone. So my climb ends up being very uneventful. I don't see anybody at altitude except for bombers. I don't normally go for bombers, but they kind of end up being right in front of me, and I'm really... Sometimes bombers drag out the fight, and I'm not super happy about that. So if they're right here in front of me and I don't see any fighters up here, I'm showing you this because they do end up like taking forever and a day to die. And I want you to know who it is that finally is like dying. I get some good shots on that guy. He's severe. I'm going to let him. Hopefully he'll still get his base, but I don't like leaving bombers completely alone if they're like right in front of me, but I will do it. Bombers tend to drag the fights on for no reason, and that's very frustrating. So I flip-flop between it's like, leave bombers alone, they're not doing anything, to like, oh my god, kill them all. Dodging this guy a little bit, he's shooting at me a little bit. I get 2 fires, and you know, good luck. Maybe he'll still get your base. I don't know. I don't like shooting bombers, but I don't like it when they extend the match on forever too. So it's catch-22. So find myself at 4,800 meters. With a 109 directly in front of me who is chasing one of our bombers, and no other real fighters up at altitude till I spot those guys. So McLovin and that other guy, I'm like, oh man, so there's like a bit of indecision that's happening right here. Do I go after the 109 that's heading away from me? Do I go for the 190 that's below me? Or do I go for these 2 109s that are... I don't know what these other 2 guys are doing. And I get kind of caught in between. I think I'm going to have to go for the guy 04 because he's now headed towards me. But he's below me, and if I go for him, then McLovin and the other guy, they're going to catch me. So I'm going to let that guy dive out, and I'm going to burn even more energy heading back towards those 2 guys again. They're really kind of bad maneuvers by me. I'm burning a lot of energies for not a lot of value, but it is what it is. They're headed towards me. I know I've been burning energy. I know I'm kind of slow, so I put it in a small dive. I'm going to make them commit to me. If you want to shoot me down, come on. It's 2 of you versus 1 of me, so I'll let you fly over the top of me. I'm going fast. I'm going 400. You can see the Corsair does not like to pull at 400. But yeah, if you want to chase me, come chase me. We're going to pull you down a little bit. And he decides to go back up. So at this point, I'm going to turn back it, put it back into a shallow climb. We're going to put all that energy we just gained. We're going to try and go back up. He's still welcome to follow me, but now it's 3 kilometers and 1 kilometer. So I'm kind of stretching them out a little bit, making sure that if I have to do a 2v1, that I'll get me a little space, or at least they'll be coming from the same direction. One of the guys pulls off. The other guy sticks. you can actually see I'm actually higher than I was before, and now I'm at 350, so that's kind of cool. Now they've both broken off, and I'm gonna turn on them now at this point, because I've actually now am above them, or I have more energy. The bomber died finally. I have more energy, and I am higher altitude because when they turn their altitude into speed, it shed off of them. The Corsair holds on to. So now I'm above them with more energy, so I'm going to turn around and push this fight. I am glad that they're splitting up. If they had stayed together, that might have been more of an issue. McLovin, whatever, seems to want to be pulling away from me. You can see I had to get my rads open because I was overheating. This is a hot map. I'm trying to play with my manual engine control settings here a little bit. McLovin's pulling away. Eric Carte is pulling towards me, so we're going to angle towards him. You can see I'm pushing 415. They are not. And that's going to be very important right here in these head-ons, because I have the ammo to spray, and they dodge early, but they don't have the speed. That lets me do that. So they dodged early, but they didn't have the speed. I had the speed and the ammo. That's why that worked out that way. Got to do the same thing here. He's above me, but he doesn't have the energy, and he's going really slow. And that gives me a lot of opportunity to get guns on him in a head-on. He wasn't pressuring me with his own ammo, with his own shots. And I'm just content to let him burn. I'm going to turn inside his turn. We're going to keep it going. I'm going to let that fire do its work. I don't see any reason to put my plane in danger while he's burning. And I showed this clip because I wanted you guys to see how important speed is in a head-on. And if you don't have speed in a head-on, you should probably stick it, because the other guy is going to, if he's sticking it, you're in a bad spot. And then this is just mop up. This is that bomber that had 2 fires from earlier. He's almost making it back to base. We can't have that. Sorry, bomber. I came out of the match finally. He was severe already. Like I've already got that guy severe. And I'm using the Corsair air brake, aka my gear. And then this guy right here is the F4U 190, is the last guy in the match. I was like, maybe I can get an ace here. So we turn towards him. I try not to be overly greedy. I've got 2 bombers, 2 fighters. Still have 500 rounds left and 7 minutes of fuel, so we're going to chase. We don't want this guy getting back to his air base and dragging this out any longer than it needs to be. Playing with my MEC settings right there, pulling the rads into 70. There's probably some amount that you can go and do 100%, but you will have to play with the rads a little bit if you want to run 100% the whole match, because oil will, or engine will stay overheated. Gave the French fighter a chance to go ahead and end the match. He gets some good hits, but I get a chance to poke at this guy too, get some hits. Looks like he's already severe, so I get me an assist, I'll take it, and that's another W. But I hope you got some value out of this, how to play the Corsair. You got some good inline speed, but you need to slow it down in order to get some maneuverability out of it. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Catch you in the next one.